You know, most of us are familiar with the story of the cross. But have you ever really zoomed in on the details? Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break down the 7 specific moments Jesus shed his blood, and what's amazing is how each one, each one, unlocks a totally unique spiritual victory for us. It's an incredible story of sacrifice, sure, but it's also about a love that completely changed everything.
Okay, so let's jump right in with this number, 427. What is that? Well, that's how many times the word blood shows up in the Bible. And when you see a word that many times, you know it's not just a coincidence, right? It's like a bright, shining thread woven through the whole story, pointing to life, to sacrifice, to covenant. It's a huge deal, and it sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about.
So that brings us to this one, central idea, redemption. It sounds like a big, formal word, but it's actually pretty simple. Imagine paying off someone's massive debt so they can walk away free. That's redemption. In a spiritual sense, it's about being delivered from the bondage of sin. And honestly, this idea, it's the key that unlocks the meaning behind every single drop of blood we're going to look at.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll touch on why blood equals life. Then we'll walk through the story, from Gethsemane and the battle for the will, to the punishment that bought our health and prosperity, all the way to the cross for our authority and dominion, and finally, the joy of salvation. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, blood is life. This is the foundation for the new covenant. In the Bible, blood is life. It's that simple. Now, back in the Old Testament, the sacrifices of animals were kind of like a temporary fix, a placeholder. But the sacrifice of Jesus, that was different. That blood established a brand new, permanent deal, a covenant that offers life forever.
All right, let's go to Gethsemane for the victory over the will. These are the first drops of blood. Our whole story starts in a garden. But this isn't Eden, where a human will gave in to temptation. Nope. This is Gethsemane, where the very first battle for our freedom was fought and the first victory was won. And it was all about reclaiming our will.
Can you even imagine the weight of what was about to happen? The crushing burden of all of humanity's sin was literally pressing down on him. The force of it was just unimaginable. And the pressure, the anguish, it got so intense that it actually started to show up physically in this really shocking and incredibly rare way.
And right there, in that moment of absolute surrender, he speaks these words, "Not my will, but yours be done." Just think about that for a second. This is the complete 180-degree reversal of what went down in Eden. In one garden, a human will chose disobedience. In this garden, a divine will chose perfect obedience. It's just wow.
So here's what's so critical to understand. The first time he shed his blood, it wasn't from a whip or a nail. It came from inside, from the pure internal pressure of that spiritual fight. It's a real medical condition called hematidrosis, where extreme stress causes blood vessels to rupture into sweat glands. This was the physical proof of the price he was paying to buy back our rebellious will so that we could have the power to say yes to God again.
Okay, next up is the punishment. This is where we get our health and prosperity back, the price for physical and spiritual restoration. From the garden, the story moves to the governor's palace. And what happens here, this incredibly brutal punishment, is directly tied to restoring us in 2 huge areas, our health and our prosperity.
The number of lashes he received was 39. Now, why 39? This is where it gets fascinating. For a long time, medical science actually classified all the diseases in the world into 39 basic categories. You can't make this stuff up. The connection is it's undeniable. It's like there was one wound for every category of sickness we could ever face.
And this connects directly to that ancient prophecy from Isaiah, "By his wounds we are healed," written hundreds of years earlier. Every single lash that tore his skin was a spiritual payment being made for our total healing, and we're not just talking physical sickness, but mental and emotional brokenness too.
Now check this out. It's the curse versus the cure. Remember back in Eden, when the ground was cursed? The curse was thorns and thistles, a symbol of hard labor, of struggle, of never having enough. So what do the soldiers do? In this moment of just profound, cosmic irony, they take the very symbol of that curse, thorns, and they weave it into a crown for the king.
So, by putting that crown of thorns on his head, he was literally wearing our curse. And by wearing it, he broke its power over us. He took on our poverty, our lack, our constant striving, so that we could become rich in him. It was a divine exchange, restoring the promise of real prosperity.
Okay, so now we come to the cross itself, the wounds of victory that gave us back our authority and dominion. We're at Golgotha, the place of the skull. And it's here, with these final wounds, that our freedom from sin's grip is finally secured, and our spiritual authority and dominion are given back to us.
Now, something we gotta remember is that before the nails even came out, there was that awful beating. The prophet Isaiah said he was crushed for our iniquities. And iniquities isn't just about the mistakes we make, it's that deeper stuff, right? The ingrained habits, the patterns of sin that we feel totally powerless to break. That crushing was the price to completely shatter the hold those things have on our lives.
And the symbolism here is just so incredibly precise. Think of it this way. The nails in his hands. Our hands represent what we do, our actions. That was the price to get back our spiritual authority. And the nails in his feet. Well, our feet take us places. That restored our dominion, our power to walk in victory and take back ground from the enemy.
And now for the joy of our salvation, the final drop. But we're not done yet. The story doesn't actually end with the nails. The very last time his blood was shed wasn't even part of the crucifixion itself. It happened after he cried out, "It is finished." It came from a soldier's spear, and it sealed the deal on the ultimate victory.
So a soldier comes up, pierces his side with a spear just to make sure he's dead, and the wound goes right into his heart, and out flows this mixture of blood and water. Now medically, that's proof that he was gone, but spiritually, it was proof that everything had been given. He was totally and completely poured out. He held absolutely nothing back for us.
So, let's just recap everything we've seen. These are the 7 restored blessings. From those 7 moments, 7 incredible blessings were bought back for us. From the sweat in the garden, our will was restored. From the lashes on his back, our health. From the crown of thorns, our prosperity. From the beating he took, our liberation. From the nails in his hands, our authority. From the nails in his feet, our dominion. And from that final wound in his side, our joy.
So we just want to leave you with this to think about. Each one of these 7 moments wasn't an accident. It was a very specific price paid to buy back a very specific part of your life. So as you go about your day, just think, which one of these victories means the most to you? Right here, right now. It's a powerful thing to hold on to. Thanks so much for joining us.